Hello, Invisible Children family. This is Lisa Dugan, President and CEO of Invisible Children, also former Mid-Atlantic Roadie of the 2007 tour, also former regional tour manager and former Oklahoma holdouter and former Director of Advocacy and Central Africa Programs Advisor. So needless to say, I've worn a lot of different hats over the last 16 years at Invisible Children. They've all been wonderful. It continues to be such an honor to serve this organization and to serve this community. And it has also been quite a wild ride, as I'm sure you all can understand. Speaking of which, I am coming to you from Washington, D.C. tonight, even though I had planned to be together with you all in San Diego. There were some unexpected and important things that came up with Invisible Children this week that really required my focused support. And so in order to prioritize Invisible Children's mission, it meant that I couldn't be there together with you all. But I hope you always expect from me that I will prioritize Invisible Children's mission, and you hold me to that. But I am sad that I cannot be together with you all. I hope it has been and continues to be a beautiful and amazing weekend. I am thankful that because of the wonders of technology and the wonders of Talitha Baker, I'm able to patch in from the other side of the country and take a few minutes to catch you up to speed on Invisible Children, because what the heck has happened? Well, for those of you who remember, the last time there was an Invisible Children reunion, it was in December of 2014 in San Diego, and it was called the I See Ya Later reunion. And it was both celebrating all that we'd accomplished together and the community we had built together, but it was also bittersweet because it was marking really the end of a huge era for Invisible Children. And in the weeks that followed that reunion, we fully closed the San Diego office. We pared the Invisible Children US team down to 5 people. That included Andrea Ramsey, Sean Poole, Aaron Miller, Ananda Roby, and myself. And we relocated Invisible Children's headquarters to Washington, D.C. The amazing Ben Kesey, who I know is with you all tonight, passed the baton of the CEO position to me. And our remaining team of 5 in the US and the small global team we had at the time, we were tasked with keeping Invisible Children's most critical programs going for as long as we could, but then to sunset the organization at the end of 2015 and to give a final grant to our local partners. That's what we were supposed to do. That is not exactly what happened. And I'm going to do the best I can to give you the highlight reel of just some of what we have accomplished since that I See You Later reunion. And I'm going to try to do it in under 3 minutes. So buckle up and someone start a clock somewhere. Here we go. Number 1, after asking Central African communities what they wanted from us, we expanded our mission to focus on ending violent conflict in Central Africa, including but not just limited to the LRA. Number 2, thanks to donors like many of you and a few foundations that came alongside us, we were able to keep our programs running for 2 full years after we were supposed to close. And then, number 3, we won Invisible Children's first ever US government award, which was a $25 million 5-year USAID project focused on building community resilience in LRA affected areas. Since then, we've actually won another USAID peace-building project in Central African Republic, and we've won 3 State Department funded projects that focus on community protection and atrocity prevention. Number 4, we've expanded our global team from less than 50 people in 2015 to more than 100 people today. And that includes an amazing team of seasoned professionals from East and Central Africa who make up our senior leadership team. Number 5, our community protection and peacebuilding programs have expanded into new countries. We expanded into South Sudan in 2017. And this year we expanded into South Darfur in Sudan, which is really exciting for a lot of reasons, including that's where Joseph Kony and his LRA group have been sitting tight for a while. Number 6, we launched exciting new partnerships with conservation organizations like African Parks and African Wildlife Foundation, and we're working together with them to help local communities play a more central role in preventing wildlife poaching and trafficking, which fuels armed group violence in Central Africa. Number 7, we produced 2 mobile cinema films, and we have one on the way, including a film that was entirely written, filmed, produced by an amazing Central African filmmaking team. So we are making films by, with, and for Central African communities. We're keeping that media and storytelling part of Invisible Children's DNA alive, and we're doing it in really new and beautiful ways that I'm so proud of. Number 8, we expanded the early warning system from 48 communities in 2015 to more than 180 communities today, and that spans 4 different countries. Number 9, we launched a trauma healing program that is currently helping more than 15,000 men, women, and children in Central Africa to help them heal from the impacts of violence. And to be honest, we're just getting started on that work. I'll touch on that more in a minute. Number 10, we have cared for more than 400 people who have escaped from the LRA, and Invisible Children staff have personally reunited more than 200 LRA escapees with their families. Number 11, our advocacy team in DC has helped to secure, listen up to this, more than $60 million in US humanitarian assistance to communities impacted by the LRA and other armed groups in Central Africa. And lastly, as I think some of you know, right now, today, we are in the process of working with local partners and local authorities to help encourage 2 LRA groups in the Central African Republic to peacefully surrender. And if this moves forward, it would be the largest mass surrender of the LRA in Invisible Children's history. All right, I'm going to pause there. That is just a small fraction of what we've accomplished together since the I See You Later reunion. I hope we're making you proud. I am certainly proud. And none of that would have been possible without all of you, without the movement that you created, the organization that you built, and the programs that you've made possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so what's next? Where do we go from here? First, I just want to say that I know that you're in San Diego this weekend and you found the babysitters and you bought the tickets and you traveled around the globe and you took time off of work to be together this weekend because Invisible Children and the relationships you forged there have been such an important part of your journey. And I would love for us to continue to journey together with you and for you to journey with us. First and foremost, in terms of what that looks like, I would love for this community to continue to support the work that Invisible Children is doing on the ground. It must be said that the LRA is weaker today than it has ever been, and the LRA's ability to harm people is so much lower than it ever was before. And we need to celebrate that because our efforts have played a very key role in making that happen. At the same time, the communities that we're committed to supporting and serving in Central Africa are truly among some of the most remote and marginalized and vulnerable communities on the planet. In many areas where our teams are operating today, there are no other international organizations. Other organizations just don't even try to operate where we do because it's so challenging and insecure. But we are committed to these communities. We are committed to their safety. We are committed to their healing and their thriving. And we also believe that none of that is possible unless we invest in local solutions and local expertise. So in terms of where we want to go, I want to tell you just a few of the things that we're really committed to do over the next year or 2 years, and would love for you to be on board with us and making this possible. Number 1, we want to continue to expand our community early warning and conflict transformation programs in these areas around South Darfur in Sudan. We just started implementing there, and we want to continue to expand that work. This is a highly remote and ungoverned area. That's why Coney has been able to hang around there for several years and not really be bothered. Communities here are really, really off the grid and incredibly vulnerable to violence. And so we want to be building more ties, building more relationships, and expanding our work there to help these communities be connected to each other, to the outside world, and have the tools to prevent and heal from violence. So help us expand further into South Darfur in Sudan. Secondly, we want to reach tens of thousands of more Central Africans with trauma healing support. The impacts of violence in this region are so huge and run so deep. And so the need for trauma healing support is vast. And we want to support as many people as we can with mental health services that are really owned and led by the community. We want to leverage research-based mental health best practices from international experts, but really merge that with local wisdom, local expertise, local traditions and social structures, so that these trauma healing services are as relevant and connected to people's day-to-day lives as possible. Third, we want to pilot and scale a community-centered reintegration program for former child soldiers from a variety of armed groups, not just the LRA in Central Africa. We believe that communities should and can play a central role in the reintegration process for people coming out of armed groups. And unfortunately, the communities are often an afterthought when big institutions create reintegration programs. So we really want to center the communities, and we want to invest in the local community's role and their ability to help peacefully dismantle armed groups and support healing and reconciliation and restoration, not only for people coming back from an armed group, but from the whole community that is receiving them home. So those are just three of the things that we have on the horizon. And needless to say, we have very big plans. If this work resonates with you, if what we're up to, still lights a fire in you, I would love for you to be journeying with us and supporting that work. I also recognize that for so many of you over the years, you've encountered and been really drawn to other injustices and other movements that you want to really focus on. And that is awesome. I celebrate that. We celebrate that. We still would want to journey with you as we're all striving to listen and learn and grow and better embody our values in the work of justice and healing and wholeness for our globe. So let's find ways to be in conversation with each other and wrestle through tough questions together. Questions like, how are we honestly and meaningfully addressing white supremacy and anti-Blackness in ourselves, in the communities and the institutions that we're a part of and in our society? Questions like, how can we prioritize living in genuine relationship and solidarity with the poor and with oppressed populations, rather than simply, getting involved in causes in ways where we can just opt in and opt out and have that relationship on our own terms? What is solidarity and what is genuine relationship with the oppressed really look like? And how can we take steps toward prioritizing that? So these are big questions. They're uncomfortable questions, but by genuinely exploring them and wrestling through them in community with one another, holding each other accountable, encouraging each other, we can grow and we can transform and become more effective agents of radical love and true justice and deep healing for our own communities and for the world. And I cannot imagine a better community to be on that journey with. So I would welcome that. And I will just end by saying thank you once again to all of you. I love you all so much, even if I have not had the chance to meet you and have a conversation. We are a family. This organization in many ways has raised me. And I also do not take for granted the trust that you all have given me and the Invisible Children team to carry the torch forward of the Invisible Children mission. So thank you for that trust. Thank you for everything you've done. And we love you so much. Onward and upward, our liberty is bound together. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend in San Diego together.